Hello everyone, I am back to crocheting again. I know I took quite some time off. I do live with autism as well as have an autistic son, and we've had a lot of changes going on through the past 2 years or so, but I finally kicked my recent obsession of cross stitch and I'm coming back to crochet because I do realize that this is kind of where my income comes from. And so to celebrate coming back to the crochet community, I have designed 3 rattles, and I do know there are a bunch of designs that kind of look like these, but I did do these all myself. And I decided to do a star because I don't think I've seen a star one before, and this one did take me the longest. It took me a full day yesterday, and I had to remake it 3 or 4 times before I got it how I liked it. I will give you all of the instructions you need. I am going to do a written pattern bundle for all 3, but for video tutorials I am going to do each video individually. So I'm going to start with the first one I designed today, and we are going to go with the moon. So if you want to crochet a moon rattle with me, keep watching. So for this moon tutorial, I'm actually going to be making a green moon this time, but I'm going to still use the same off-white. You can use whatever colors you want. You can even change just the colors of every bobble in the rattle. It is up to you. I do recommend using a thinner yarn than 4-weight, but I am using 4-weight because I'm trying to go through old stash of Red Heart. And I will admit that I crocheted these quite tight. I know I don't have the lines now because I finished them last night, but I had a very deep line going across my finger by the end of crocheting that star, and my finger was getting tingly, which is not good because I already have Raynaud's as is. But yes, so I would recommend a 3-weight yarn for this, but if you don't mind them being larger, go ahead and use a 4-weight. I used a 4mm hook. It doesn't have the size on it, but this is a 4mm hook. Sorry about the sun, it's going to be peeking in and out a lot today. If you want to avoid getting the hand damage I had, I would go to a 4.5 and not use as tight of a tension, but if you want your sizes to be generally the same as mine, I did use quite tight tension with a 4mm. So I think this one is still being sold. Where is the color? Frosty Green is the green I'm going to be using today, and I don't know how much yarn this takes of each, but it doesn't take a lot, so this is a good scrap project. And then this one is definitely old. I received this from someone who had passed on my partner's side of the family. Pretty sure they'll still have this option. It might just be slightly different in tone and color just because it is such an old skein. And besides that, you will need a rattle, and this rattle, let's measure, is about 1.5 inches, and I found these on Amazon a few years ago. I'm sure you could still find them. I do plan to buy different rattles that have like a harder clear plastic at some point with little acrylic balls in them, just because I like the sound better than this. Because once you cover this, it sounds different, though there are 2 rattles in this. I'm probably just going to use one from now on. And besides that, all you will need is a darning needle and your scissors. Though technically this is no-sew, I kind of like to count weaving in the ends as sewing because I would not recommend just tucking them in. I kind of wove them back and forth under the final row of stitches. But, oh, you also need polyfill. Sorry, I'm out of touch with this. I also don't typically make toys, even though I have like 80 pounds of polyfill for some reason. So yes, that is all you will need for this. You will need to know bobble stitch, single crochet, slip stitch, chaining, and the popcorn stitch, though I will show all of these as we go since, you know, this is a tutorial. and the patterns will probably be released in a week ish, maybe less from when you're watching this tutorial. I plan to post this one the day of recording and then type up the pattern, and that will be for sale on my Etsy, the Dearest of Things. But I am also working on bringing my website back, and I'm not sure if I want to just sell patterns on my website or just sell them on my Etsy, but if you want the physical rattles themselves, I will list those on my Etsy, and when my website is up, I will link it on my website as well. Feel free to click the link to my website. It will say that the website is down, and I do have a little note on there that says that it is under maintenance because I'm redesigning the whole thing. I redid all my logos, all my business cards, and I am moving on to more boho chic type products. But if you want to bookmark my shop and check back later, I do plan on at some point having kind of website exclusive designs, but we will see. I also am hoping to design enough patterns frequently enough to also have a membership. So what I might do is I might make some of these free videos, and then some of them are for members only. But we will see how this goes, since I haven't posted on here in quite some time. Yeah, but I do know I can post more frequently because I was maintaining another hobby channel and I posted like several times a week. All right, enough with the yapping. Let's get on with it. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is not going to count as a row, this counts as setup, we are going to do a magic ring. So you can see this is the loose end and this is the end connected to my ball. So you just kind of drape it over your fingers like this, pull it over, and then you can turn your finger, and then you go under that first loop or strand and then pull it up and kind of twist it as you do so. And you can play that back in slow motion if you want, and then you chain one. And I like to pull this out just because it makes it easier to tighten once my stitches are in there. And the setup is going to be 6 single crochet. And I am a bit odd about using this hook. This hook is very slippery and does not grab very well. So I might drop stitches. I'm also awkwardly positioned. I usually crochet close to my body, so it's also just hard for me to crochet properly when I'm reaching in front of my body to make sure I'm over my desk. So I like to double check my stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pull that tight. And then these are going to be worked in rows instead of in a continuous round. So we are going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. And I like to pull really tight just so it's easier to see which is the first and last stitch. And I'm going to zoom in at this point for you. And now that we are nice and close, I'm going to chain one, and this is going to start row 1, where we are going to increase in each stitch around, so that is 6 increases for a total of 12 stitches. So again, I'm going to double check before I slip stitch to end this round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have all of my stitches, and I will slip stitch into the first single crochet, pull that tight, and chain 1. And that is the end of the first row. For row 2, we are going to increase again, but this time we are putting 1 single crochet between each increase. So it will be 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochet in the second stitch. So single crochet increase 6 times around, and that will give you a total of 18 single crochet by the end of the row. I'm at the end of my second row, so I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet and chain 1, and that is the end of row 2. So row 3 is going to be a little bit different. This is just to get our stitch count correct so we are able to kind of get that shape of the moon. So this one isn't going to follow the standard mathematics of increasing where you single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 2, increase. This one's going to be a different kind of setup. So for row 3, we are going to start with a single crochet increase, and then it is 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then in the 3rd stitch it is another single crochet increase, and we are going to repeat those 3 stitches, or this one repeat, 6 times. And so I will go over that one more time so you can see it is increase, 1 single crochet, increase, and we're going to repeat it. So we're going to be doing an increase, 1 single crochet, and another increase. One more time, increase, 1 single crochet, and then another increase. And we will be doing this all the way to the end of the row. Right at the end of the row, same as always, we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet we have made. And now we move on to row 4. I should mention the chain 1 is the end of every row, including the final green row, and that's just kind of because when you finish something before you cut the yarn, that extra chain on the end helps really secure that yarn down and lessens the chances of it unraveling, which is something we don't want this to do since these were intended for infants. So for row 4, we are now progressing on to half double crochets and bobbles. It's still going to only start with a chain 1, and we are going to do a half double crochet increase in the first stitch, and then we are going to do 1 half double crochet, and then we are going to do a bobble of 5 double crochet. All bobbles and popcorn stitches will be double crochets. So we did a half double crochet increase, a half double crochet, and now we're doing a bobble of 5. And the way you do the bobble of 5 is in the 3rd stitch we are going to start like we are going to do a double crochet, but we are going to leave those last 2 loops unlooked to unworked. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold on, my phone screen's about to turn off on me. And once you have those 5, we are going to yarn over and pull through all of those loops, and you can see here you should have 6 loops. So you yarn over and pull through all 6 of those loops, and then this next part is what makes the bobble. So we did the bobble of 5 double crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to half double crochet. And I like to try and make sure that this is tight, and I do that by pulling through each strand one at a time just to make sure I don't accidentally loosen it. And after that half double crochet, we go back into a half double crochet increase in the next stitch. And this is the full repeat. So the repeat is going to be half double crochet increase, half double crochet, bobble, half double crochet, half double crochet increase, and we will do this a total of 6 times. So with this pattern though, usually bobbles are worked on the wrong side, but since we are working in a circular pattern, we need to pop that bobble out to the front. I just kind of like to wiggle it a little and make sure it is sticking out properly. And you can see here, this is the stitch made for the bobble. Okay, so we are at the end of round 4. Just keep in mind that that first half double crochet does lean downward a little bit. Half double crochets loops tend to sit a little bit behind the post of the stitch, so you're going to make sure that you slip stitch into the right space. And at the end of this row you should have 42 stitches. If I ever don't mention it, the pattern should be on screen as well. So after this we have 42 stitches, and we are just going to go around and pop all of the bobbles forward facing so they are out towards the front of our work, and you should have 6 bobbles at this point. The last thing we need to do is chain 1, and then we can move on to row 5. So row 5 is also going to be a repeat of 6, and this time it's going to be plain half double crochets, and we are going to start with a half double crochet increase. Then we are going to half double crochet 5, and then we are going to half double crochet increase one more time. And this is going to be the full repeat. We're going to work this 6 times total. So we are at the end of row 5, and now we are going to slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet. Remember that it does kind of slant a little. I'm going to try not to go through the back bump of it. Pull that tight and chain 1. At the end of row 5 we should have 54 stitches total. Now moving on to row 6, we are going to be doing some more bobbles. This one has a bit of a different setup, so there's going to be more text on the screen. So to start off, we are going to do a half double crochet increase. And then we are going to do a half double crochet. And now a repeat of 2 will start here. So the repeat is going to be half double crochet increase. And then we are going to do 6 half double crochet. Next thing we are going to do is another half double crochet increase, and after that half double crochet increase we are going to do our first bobble of 5 double crochet. So remember, we're only working half of those double crochets, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and remember we will end up with 6 loops on our hook, and then we will yarn over and pull through all 6. And now the repeat starts again, where we are going to half double crochet increase. Now we're going to half double crochet 6. And another half double crochet increase, and then the repeat ends with 1 more bobble, and that is the end of the repeat. So it says to repeat this 2 times, which is not correct. Oh no, it is correct. Okay, I was trying to figure out what I was doing here. So what we're trying to avoid is putting bobbles right where the fold will be. So this is the last bobble for this side. So we are going to continue as follows. We are going to half double crochet increase, and then we are going to half double crochet 6. We are going to half double crochet increase, and here this next stitch is where we would be putting the bobble, but instead we are going to put a regular half double crochet. If you don't mind the bumps coming out the inside of your rattle, the bump would be about here on the rattle. If you want that there, you can go ahead and instead of substituting the bobble for a regular half double crochet, you can just go ahead and put the bobble there. And so now we will go back into our regular repeat 2 more times. So it is going to be half double crochet increase, 6 half double crochet, and another half double crochet increase, then a bobble. And you will be doing that twice, and that will be the end of that repeat, and I will meet you when we get there. Alright, so I just finished the last bobble in those 2 repeats. So the final little stretch of stitches we're going to do here is kind of going along with the space where we skipped them. I should add, if you wanted to not exclude the bobbles on the fold creases, when you first start row 6, you will need to put a bobble right here. So the very first thing we did in the row was a half double crochet increase. After that, this should be a bobble instead of a half double crochet if you want to add those bobbles back in. I will try and add a note in the video before we continue this far into the round, so if you did want to add that in, you don't have to undo all your work. So the last little stretch of stitches we're going to do is as follows. We are going to half double crochet increase, then we are going to half double crochet 6, and now we are just going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet worked. Oops, I accidentally went into the bump. There we go. And we are going to chain 1. So at the end of row 6, we should have a total of 66 stitches. And row 7 is going to be the final row. We are going to work in the green, and this one is going to be pretty straightforward. So we are going to set this row up with double crochets. So we're actually going to chain 1 more, so it's not just the chain 2, because the double crochets are going to be taller. This does not count as a stitch, by the way. So we are going to work 7 double crochet. And next we are going to do a double crochet increase. And now we are going to start a repeat of 5, which will be a double crochet increase, 9 double crochet, and then we are going to do 1 more double crochet increase. And this repeat we are going to work a total of 5 times. We just did it once, so you will be doing increase, 9 double crochet increase 4 more times. Alright, so we just reached the 5th repeat, which ends in a double crochet increase. And to finish off this row, we are going to do 1 more double crochet increase. And then we are going to do 2 double crochet. And then we are going to slip stitch. Remember that chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then just to make sure this stays secure, we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to cut our yarn. And it does look wobbly. Make sure to push your bobbles to the front as well. But the wobbly look is because we needed this to be a bit more than just a flat circle. Otherwise, you probably would have just gotten a semicircle shape, which is why my increases are worked the way they are. You see here, it kind of looks like a little triangle where you want to fold it in half. And I like to just kind of knot this little bit in the center because I don't think it's crucial to weave it in, so I just knot it several times and just leave that bit of yarn in there. Okay, I just ran to get some polyfill because I did not bring any to my desk with me, and I definitely need it for this. I am going to grab my border color now, and let's see, my space is a little bit tight. I do have a quite massive cross stitch frame sitting up against the side of my desk, and it kind of stops me from pushing things under my desk because it does have tiers. A little inconvenient. So for joining the contrast yarn, you do want to fold your work in half, but the way we're going to actually join it, so before we fold it in half, I'm going to ask you to find these stitches. So we're going to join in the third stitch to the left of the slip stitch, so 1, 2, 3. So we're going to push our hook in there, and we are going to pull this yarn through. We should probably slip knot. So this is the tail end, this is the working end. Just kind of cross it like that. Grab it and pull it through. Let me do that one more time, just in case. So you can start like this. This is the loose end. Twist, reach through it and grab your working yarn and pull. Join this here into the third stitch to the left of the slip stitch. The slip stitch is slipped into the first stitch, so we're going to count that as 1, 2, and then this is 3. And this is just making sure that we are kind of centered here, and then you will fold it in half. I'm not going to chain 1 just because I kind of want that double crochet cluster to bend over. So again, we're going into the stitch after where we joined and the stitch before where we joined. It's double crochet, Nim, yarn over, insert through the next stitch, and then through the back insert into the stitch before the join, and we are going to double crochet. And now we are going to double crochet 5 more times in here because our popcorns are going to be 6 double crochet, and you can see I'm going into that same space and working through both sides of my piece. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and for a popcorn stitch, you are going to remove your hook from the working yarn, go into that first double crochet, and you are going to grab your working yarn again and pull it through there. And every single popcorn stitch, you chain 1. That is typically part of the stitch, but it's not literally part of the popcorn stitch, but it is more often than not included in a popcorn stitch to add the chain 1. So for consistency's sake and trying to Google it, if you ever needed to, you do your slip stitch into the first one, and then you will always be chaining 1. So if my written pattern says popcorn, you do those 6 double crochets, remove your hook, insert to the first double crochet, pull your working yarn through, and chain 1. So that chain 1 is to be assumed as part of these popcorn stitches. So in the very next stitch, we are going to single crochet. And by next stitch, I mean next stitch on both sides, not just one. So going through 2 here, and we are going to single crochet. And what I like to do with these is I like to wiggle it tight just so it kind of pulls it down more and sits flatter, but I don't want it like slip stitch flat. Also, I don't like that the slip stitches would sit in the front more on the green, which is why I just do a really tight single crochet that I kind of wiggle tighter. And so next we are just going into the next space. Keep mind of your slip stitch join here. The next stitch is right behind that, and we are going to do our 6 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and one more time, remove your hook from the working yarn, go back into that first double crochet, pull your working yarn through, make sure it's nice and tight, and chain 1. And then we will single crochet in the next stitch again. And then we will just continue in this way all the way across, but remember to make sure once you get about maybe to this second bobble, start stuffing a little bit, insert your rattle, stuff above and below your rattle, close a little bit more, and then I like to use something blunt and flat. I have a tiny little wooden spoon that I use to stuff polyfill in the end, just so we make sure the rattle is staying in place and that this end isn't flat. So I will crochet to the bottom and I will meet you there. Alright, so I am at the end here, and you can see there are 5 stitches left, but we are only going to be working through the 2. So we are going to be doing our final popcorn stitch in the first one. And then in the last one here, you can see it's a bit tighter, but it fits just there. We're going to do 1 single crochet. I like to tighten it again, but extra tight on the last one, and then the chain 1 to help secure it. And then you cut your yarn. And then all you have to do is weave in your ends. I did push my stuffing a little tight towards the bottom so it wasn't in my way while I was closing. An omni stick probably would have been better for that, or a blunt omni stick if you've ever seen one of those. And there you have it. You have 1 fortune cookie or moon. So this, oh, I forgot to finish fixing this bobble. My bad. I accidentally had my finger there aggressively tight. It's just that side. Yes. If you want them to be more prominent, you can definitely do 6. I just wanted to save yarn where I could with this, but that is all you need to do to make a cute little moon rattle. And I absolutely love these. These are definitely going to fit right in with my new shop style. So yeah, I mean, I do recommend using a cotton blend, probably a cotton acrylic or cotton wool blend. Cotton rayon would not be a good idea. It's too drapey and it would leave massive holes. I tried doing this with a cotton rayon stupidly. I don't know why I even thought it would work. And even though I did it super tight with a small hook, there were just such big holes in it that you could see the stuffing very well through it. So I do have an Instagram and a Pinterest. Everything should be linked on my YouTube page. I would appreciate it so much if you guys would follow me on there. I think I'm going to do the sun for free as well, and then I might save the star shape for when I'm ready to put up memberships. But if you want the star pattern, again, I will be writing these all down. It will be 1 purchase for all 3 because I don't think I can justify charging you a pattern price for just 1 given how quick and easy these are. Even though the star was by far the most complicated one, I changed the shaping several times and the stitch count on the border just to make it so it wouldn't curve weird or look warped when it was stuffed. So I did put a lot of effort into that one. And I have some other pattern ideas, but I'm gonna do these videos first and then upload those. If you have ideas of things you want to see like turned into tutorials, let me know down below. Please, no characters or anything copyrighted or anything that could be potentially sold at markets illegally. I do not condone that, and so therefore I do not want to make tutorials for items like that anymore. I know I have a Kirby square on my YouTube, but that is the only one that's up there. I might honestly take it down just because. Yeah, just because. So let me know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, or don't. You don't have to. Not everyone that makes tutorials suits everyone's learning styles. And at least give me a like. I would appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!